The U.S. Justice Department has filed a civil lawsuit against the University of Vermont Medical Center, alleging it forces staff members who object to abortion on religious grounds to participate in abortion procedures. In a written statement, Assistant Attorney General Eric Dreiband of the Civil Rights Division says in part, quote, "This kind of indecent coercion violates everything this country stands for." Andrea Picciotti-Bayer, director of the Conscious Project, joins me now on Skype to take a closer look. Andrea, welcome back. Always so good to see you. Thanks for coming on. I know this is a story that we have been following since the first notice of violation against that hospital back in 2019. Can you remind us what the University of Vermont Medical Center allegedly did?
Well, this is a very interesting process that's been going on. It first came to light when a nurse who had been at the medical center for a very long time was asked when the center started to perform elective abortions, was assigned to participate in abortion. She actually was kind of tricked into it. She thought that she was going there to assist a woman for a different matter after a miscarriage, and one of the doctors even said, "Don't be mad at me." And when she found that she was in that situation, she looked and objected to the situation, wanted someone to relieve her. And she, unfortunately, there was no one that came. And instead, she had to participate in performing an abortion. She filed subsequently a complaint with the Office of Civil Rights at the Department of Health and Human Services, recounting this terrible situation and saying that this was something that wasn't just an isolated incident. The Office of Civil Rights conducted an investigation, found, as you mentioned, Tracy, a notice of violation, and it should have been the end of the story. There should have been a remediation. The university's medical center should have changed policy and practice, and it didn't. And instead, we now are at the situation where the Department of Justice has to step in and seek judicial relief to force this university medical center to abide by federal law and treat the conscience rights of its employees properly.
Andrea, what has the hospital's response been, and what, if any, corrective measures have been taken?
Well, like I mentioned before, it's been a long investigation done by the Department of Health and Human Services, and along the way, the university has dragged their feet, it seems. They've said that no, they're not really putting the conscience rights of employees that in jeopardy. But when you look at their policies and their practice, it looks like not above 10 nurses were even told they were scheduled to perform abortions, even though they had listed that they had objections to doing so. So this is something that they're being a little sneaky. There's been some press commentary from university officials saying that this is somehow a political situation that the administration is pursuing. But as we know, when it comes to conscience rights, it's a nonpartisan issue. It's an American issue to defend conscience rights.
Yeah, absolutely. Andrea, do we have any information? Is this a widespread problem?
You know, we've seen, everyone can remember the nurse at Mount Sinai in New York, and Caterina DiCarlo, and she, back in 2008, was similarly forced to perform an abortion. She filed suit against her employer, and unfortunately, the court said that their individuals can't file suit. It's a government issue. And so we don't know the extent to which this is happening. I think that there have been individual cases of healthcare workers filing complaints. And I'm really hoping that if this is happening at different places throughout the country, that this important case brought in Vermont reminds not only hospital administrators and schedulers and staffers, but also healthcare workers themselves of what their rights are under the law, so that this kind of situation doesn't happen and people aren't being forced into a surgical operating room against their wishes.
Andrea, thank you so much for coming on for your analysis. We always appreciate it. Andrea Picciotti-Bayer, director of the Conscious Project. Thanks again.
It's my pleasure, Tracy. Thanks.